to Android Stunts.
I am Kill the Noise from now Los Angeles, California. I'm originally from New York.
What was your music beginning like in Rochester? What's the scene like over there?
Well, yeah, it's changed a lot. I guess the first, like, kind of where I was first exposed to electronic music was in the 90s there. It was like a straight up rave kind of scene, you know? I think really where the stuff really started to kind of soak in was going up to Toronto, because Rochester is actually closer to Toronto than it is to New York. New York City, rather. That's how I got into drum and bass, really.
When did you get into producing? Like, how did that all start and how did it evolve? And why did you pick drum and bass?
I mean, I always felt like drum and bass was kind of, it was just on the edge of kind of all the cool stuff people were doing in the studio, you know? And like, I also think at the time, when it came to dance stuff, like, it was kind of the underdog, you know? And also, before I got into drum and bass, I was really into hip hop and stuff like that, and like, especially in the mid 90s, with all the jungle and drum and bass stuff, they sampled a lot of that kind of stuff. So the first vinyl that I pressed myself and put out was a remix I did of Erykah Badu, and the other side was another remix thing I did of 50 Cent. I loved playing the stuff, so that's how I got into the production part as well, you know? It was just natural progression from just being a DJ, and then curiosity of how, you know, okay, I know how they do this, now I want to know how they do that. And that's that kind of train of thought has led me to where we are right now, for sure. Like, I remember being young and like just the mystery behind all this stuff, and because sometimes it gets disheartening when you go online and there's just so much, I think, now, and there isn't as much mystery behind the music anymore, you know?
Right.
And like, I think that there's like something magical about kind of not knowing that much about who the people were that were making it and where it was coming from and how they make it and all that kind of stuff. Like, now you can just go on the internet and figure out, and you don't even have to really know that much about a song, and you can find it like immediately.
What made you change your production name?
Just because drum and bass in America in particular, and I think elsewhere, maybe aside from Eastern Europe, was really on a downslope, you know? And that wasn't necessarily the reason why I changed it, but to me, like, that name and what I was doing was like just an idea that it was an old idea at that point.
So you wanted to start like a new chapter with a new vision?
Yeah, it's like just the stuff I was starting to get interested in didn't sound at all like what I was doing as E1. And incidentally, now what I'm doing sounds nothing like what I was doing when I started Kill the Noise. Now I've ended up with a lot of the people I work with in the business world because of how much I trust working with Skrillex, you know? And he's done a lot of stuff for me, given me a lot of opportunities to show that I can, you know, do this shit. And yeah, I trust his decision making, and I trust the team that he has behind him. So we move together on a lot of things, you know?
The Black Magic release, what's been the response to that?
Yeah, it's been good, man. Like, we were talking about on the way up here, just like the idea that when you get done with something that you worked really hard on, sometimes you're just like, man, I don't even want to listen to this thing anymore. Like,
of course.
And I don't really have a lot of perspective on it anymore either, because I've like just exhausted my brain with these ideas. But I was really not surprised, but just relieved that it was accepted as well as it was. Like, it was #1 on iTunes dance chart, #1 in USA and Canada. Charted well all around the world, really, on iTunes. #1 on Beatport. It was like #4 on the new artists on Billboard.
Wow.
And it's still going.